George Soros is at it nonstop, around the clock, causing chaos. I know we talk about this often, and we've asked the question, why is this man not in jail? We have to look a little bit further than here in America to see exactly why he's not in jail. You have to look at the other countries that this man is causing chaos in, and you have to start to see the operations that are working with him. The groups, the militaries, the governments, and the alphabet gangs. And what we've come to expose here recently is that in Macedonia especially, federal agents caught working hand in hand with George Soros. So you wonder why the feds aren't going after him here in this country? Writing's on the wall. Now, I've asked the same question, why is Merkel letting this man invade her country with foreigners, putting $500 million on it and not closing the border, allowing it to happen? Why is this? They are working on bringing down all the governments of this world. It is the only way that they can usher in their new world order. Do you see this? It doesn't have to just be the economy. It doesn't have to just be the US dollar falling. It's going to be coming from out of left field, I'm telling you, when this whole thing starts to come down. So what they're doing is they're going into countries like they did to Ukraine. In Ukraine, they brought in mercenaries. They ran an elected government out of the country virtually overnight. Stole all the gold, brought in Monsanto, set up Hunter Biden in a key position. I've said it before. A lot of other folks got big jobs in there because they went along with this, with the atrocity of invading a country, running the elected people and the people that live there out of the country. The rest of them still to this day fighting for their livelihoods. But yet your mainstream media will say not a word. Oh, Russia's got to give back Crimea. That's all they want to say, but they don't want to say anything about invading and taking over Ukraine. It's pathetic. Russia, they're no angels either. None of these world leaders and governments are, in my opinion. To me, this is a world stage. What Soros has done in Macedonia, Hungary, all these other Czech Republic, it's enough to put this man on trial. And many of the other countries are wanting to go after him. So what is George Soros trying to do now in this country? George Soros is trying to move the voting age from 18 to 16. Now, why would they do that? They do that because under the age of 18, these minors, especially under the Barack Obama administration, they were able to flood in here under catch and release. So they have a massive amount of illegal youth here. And what does Soros want to do? He wants to use them to vote. You see, that has been the history of the Democrats, period. And a lot of the way that the system has been set up. And I'm not just saying that to bash Democrats. Go back and do your research. Look at how they've been bringing in individuals from other countries for the longest time, housing them in ghettos, just to use them when the day comes to knock on the door and use them for their vote. And then send them back to their ghetto to live very poor. Well, Soros is now trying to do this in California, and it seems that California and its Democratic legislators are agreeing. That's right, they're agreeing because they've introduced this week a landmark bill to do just this, ACA 10. It would give the Golden State the nation's youngest statewide voting age by lowering the threshold below 18, supposedly in the name of reversing the slide in a voter turnout. Look, they're going all out. And if they're willing to do this, come next election, you people better be ready because they're starting now. We're up against a billionaire. And I know we're all poor from the gutter. But when we all come together collectively, they can't stop us. Problem is getting everyone to get up off their ass to come together and to see the true enemy. To not fight in the street over red and blue, left and right. You've got to see the greater enemy. Long as you stay divided, they win. That is the name of their game. Divide and conquer. Order out of chaos. Once you learn this and you see it being implemented in your streets, a light bulb clicks on in your head. And you say, I got it now. I see it. I see what's happening. They are using our own people and dividing us and running us against each other. You have awoken. You have awoken to seeing the puppet master pulling strings. Not only using the people here in this country, but in other countries. This is how they operate, through subversion, through these tactics that many people out there just don't know about. So I'm here to tell you this. We've got to keep the fight going. We've got to keep calling this SOB out. If any government agencies want to work with him, any senators, any governors, if anyone wants to protect him, they need to fall with him. It's time we start taking names and pulling cards. So a heads up, Cali, if you don't get it together, the people inside of your state, the same ones that are trying to strip your gun rights from you and make it to where you got to stick your kids with all these vaccines, right? Don't you just love it out there? Your freedom? It's sick. Well, they're working hand in hand with Soros now. So if the rest of you want to keep your head in the sand like an ostrich, trying to hide from it, it's just going to come and steamroll you. Okay? So you can't hide from it. Those of you that think you can just sit back and someone white knight's going to come out and fight the fight for you and win it, you're dead wrong. You have to be the change that you seek. You have to stop being scared. And you better get a movement together now, a positive one, to counter this crap in the street, to come across these fake protesters and leave them hogtied on the corner for someone else to come and pick up. And to make a statement, because if you don't, you're going to see these protests kick back up again. It's only a matter of time. As soon as the weather breaks, they're going to be flooding the streets again in all kinds of cities with new mottos. And you're going to be asking yourself again, how are they doing this? How are they getting here? And it's the same old paid protesters being bussed in by George Soros and his minions. So we need to do and follow suit like other countries are doing. They are going after George Soros. They are shutting down his NGOs that are operational here in this country. The Moore Foundation, the Open Society. They need to go. We need protests outside of their buildings. We need people mounting up on them. That's what we need. Where you at, people? Where you at? Time is now. This is Dabu7 and this is Illuminati, and we won't stop until they drop. Do you remember what Mussolini's body looked like after the people caught him in the streets? This is Illuminati.